The anime community. This diverse, unique, and divided group has stood the test of time as one garnering admiration from those seeking to join it and disdain from those who fail to hold any reputable position within it. For all its flaws, as I've said before, outside of impassioned fans turning to flame wars for the sake of upholding their honor, it only bears as many bad apples as you'd expect from a comparably large network of netizens. A reason why many overlook its many flaws and strive towards the respect of its members, something you might be trying to do. Now, if you want to be formally recognized as an otaku, your best bet would normally be one among calling popular series mid, saying the sub is always better than the dub, or watching everything to have ever aired. But if you'd rather not resort to cheap tricks or have limited time available to you on account of having a life, those aren't the options you're looking for. Instead, I give you the Otaku Starter Pack. 3 things to do to instantly become a more respected otaku while you try to find your bearings in the community. Number 1. Read manga. Yes, I'm starting out a list of steps on how to gain ground in the anime community by telling you not to watch it. As long as you don't fall into the trap of believing you're better than everyone else for it, if you read some manga, people will think more highly of you, and my recommendation to that end is Fire Punch. If I tried to convince you to read a manga that had already been adapted into an anime, I know I'd be fighting an uphill battle, so I bring you instead the creator of Chainsaw Man, Tatsuki Fujimoto's first long-running series. This expectedly grim and gory story is set in a dystopian world cursed by one of the blessed, the Ice Witch, to become a frozen hell completely incapable of supporting life. You see, in this world, those born with special abilities like the Ice Witch's cryomancy, though few, aren't unheard of and are referred to as the Blessed. Siblings Agni and Luna are 2 such people. They both possess the blessing of regeneration. With the cold making it impossible to secure food, their village is put in danger of dying, and understanding this, older brother Agni uses his incredible regenerative power to save everyone, by continuously suffering the agony of amputating his limbs to provide food. Yeah, it's one of those. One day, soldiers of Bohemdorg in search of supplies happen upon this village and discover the secret behind its survival. Disgusted by the acts of cannibalism, their leader, bearing the blessing of fire, lights the village ablaze with a flame that persists until death. Everything is destroyed and everyone dies. Everyone except Agni and Luna, who are cursed by their regeneration to live. The inexhaustible fire burns as they lay immobile in anguish, their cells fighting to regenerate as they only get returned to ash time and again. The words of Agni in his suffering: "I couldn't think, I couldn't speak. The only thing I could do was pray to God. At the very least, protect Luna from the flames. Let her be alive and safe from the fire." Year 1, I simply cried out in pain. Through blizzard and storm, the flames did not go out. Year 3, I wandered while spitting blood. Countless times I bit my tongue to try and forget about the pain. Year 5, my brain grew used to the pain and my body regained its freedom of movement. The flames still prevented me from breathing properly. Year 8, I learned to control my regeneration. I succeeded in clearing the flames from my face by gathering it at my body, after taking the first proper breath in a very long time. I formed a fist. Fire Punch is a story of suffering. It does not have heroes or villains, it only has survivors. Those who've learned that the only way to survive in a world so cruel is by in turn becoming cruel as well. Some find pleasure in such a lifestyle. Others delude themselves into believing all they do is for the sake of justice, to one day defeat the Ice Witch and warm the world. Most, they're just the victims. Slaves, fuel, food, entertainment. Whatever they become is the choice of whoever adapted to the world instead of them, whoever evolved ahead of them. And Agni is one such victim, only whether by blessing or curse, he lived to be free once more. He lived to evolve into one of them. He doesn't want to warm the world. His fist isn't one of justice. He cares not even of the ice witch who brought the world to ruin. He only wants to find the man who did this to him and make him share the suffering he was forced to endure ceaselessly for years. Jeez, this video ended up going darker than expected, but surely you have some respect for manga now, right? Besides, I know someone special watching is hyped to hear me talk about Fire Punch. Without further ado, let's move on. Way of the Respected Otaku number 2. Read webtoons. Okay, I know I'm getting on your nerves now, but number 3 really will be about anime, and I want you to hear me out here. Nothing makes you look like someone with their finger on the pulse, quite like having known about an anime source material before it was ever announced, and that can be achieved with more than just manga or light novels now. With titles like Tower of God, The God of High School, Lookism, and Solo Leveling all having received anime adaptations, the first two having aired and the latter being in production, it's about time we accept that webtoons are all here to stay. I've made plenty of videos on webtoons before that you could pick from, but in the interest of keeping everything fresh, today I give you The Lone Necromancer. Not yet adapted, don't particularly believe it will be, you can watch my Omniscient Reader video if you want that, but it has good, long, easy to read chapters, though still fewer than 50, a distinct cast of consistently written characters, what I believe to be good pacing, and pretty nice plot progression. Which I realize I should talk about if I want to sell you. The Lone Necromancer is your standard game apocalypse story following college student Sung-woo, who's just returned to academia after his Special Forces service. Only any hopes he has of getting a degree are quickly squashed when his nap is interrupted by a pop-up telling him to select his class. Electronics black out and darkness sweeps over everything as everyone is given 15 seconds to select a class card from a diminishing pool. Rushing to meet the deadline, Sung-woo reaches for the card with the most stars and his life as a necromancer begins. Goblins flood the school, everyone is presented with missions and objectives to overcome if they wish to survive as the world is thrown into the chaos of an RPG. Only it's not a game for the players and the only role available is that of a pawn to whatever force is behind all of this. The Lone Necromancer won't be winning any writing awards, but neither do most anime out there, so hey, it's a fun way to kill time. Speaking of anime, that brings us to The Way of the Respected Otaku number 3. Watch non-mainstream anime. More so than whether an anime is actually good, the respect you get for having it under your belt stems from how underground it is. Telling people you've watched My Hero Academia is more likely to get you clowned on than anything, and unless it is part of your character development after having been vehemently against anime, you won't be celebrated for getting through Demon Slayer or Attack on Titan either. This isn't to say that you should subject yourself to Deers or Action Saga DT, I have no idea why I did, but you should look for that middle ground mostly populated by non-battle shonen like Odd Taxi or older anime that have faded from the public scene like Code Geass or Hellsing Ultimate. Those will definitely score some culture points. If I had to pick one I haven't spoken much about before, it'd have to be Parasite, the Maxim. Unlike the previous entries, this is set in modern-day Japan. Small worm-like parasites suddenly appear on Earth one day and they take over the bodies of humans by entering their ears or noses while they sleep to claim their brains and bodies as tools for murder and feeding. Protagonist Shinichi is targeted by one such creature, but saved by the earphones he fell asleep in, the creature is confined to and only gains control over his right hand. Learning the secret of the transpiring takeover, Shinichi must find ways both to keep those around him safe and cope with the dynamic of having to share his body. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it since it came out 8 years ago and only decided to talk about it spontaneously without giving it a rewatch first because I want to get a video out before you're all convinced I'm a full-time shorts channel now. But although I don't usually trust my taste from before 5 years ago, I'm sure I was right about this being good and I hope you'll take my word for it. With that being said, those are the steps to being a more respected otaku, and this has been Ken-chan assuring you I know what I'm talking about. Thanks for watching this video all the way through, and if you did get here, prove you're a real one and go comment Otaku under my Is Anime for Everyone video. It'll be in the end screen, and there's a prize for at least one of the subscribers who does so. Yes, I am still trying to plug that video. It took a month to make, and while on that note, if you'd like to support the channel, play D&D with me, or help me upload high-quality videos more consistently, consider supporting me over on Patreon. Like the video if you liked the video, dislike the video if you disliked the video, and comment why down below, for the criticism helps me grow. I've gotten rusty, but I think that's everything I usually say in my outros. Until next time, guys, stay cool.